The global financial establishment is currently in a state of terminal cardiac arrest as the world's largest silver dealers, APMEX and JM Bullion, have just flashed the out-of-stock sign on their most critical bullion products, while the paper price is being manipulated into the basement. You are witnessing the most sophisticated wealth confiscation scheme in human history, where a digital price crash is being used as a high-tech smokescreen to hide a total physical depletion of the metal across the Western Hemisphere. If you fail to recognize this signal right now, you will be left holding worthless paper while the elite retreat into their fortified vaults of hard assets. I have a specific piece of evidence coming up later in this script that proves exactly which major U.S. bank is currently insolvent due to their massive silver shorts, a secret they are spending billions to keep off the front pages of the mainstream media. Listen to every word, because the window to exit the fiat system is closing with every tick of the clock. The divergence between the digital screen and the reality of the physical vault has widened into a chasm that the Federal Reserve can no longer bridge with their printing presses or their deceptive narratives of cooling inflation. Look at the order screens for the big dealers. The premiums are skyrocketing even as the spot price falls, which is the ultimate proof that the fiat dollar is losing its grip on the commodity market. The COMEX is currently a house of cards, a hollow shell where for every single physical ounce of silver actually sitting in the warehouse, there are over 500 paper claims being traded by high-frequency algorithms in a desperate game of musical chairs. We are entering a period of maximum deception where the numbers you see on your phone are a total fiction, a digital ghost intended to lure you into a trap, while the smart money, the institutions, and the billionaire class are vacuuming up every physical ounce of silver that isn't bolted to the floor. We are approaching the stage zero moment where the London Bullion Market Association is effectively operating as a ghost exchange, with insiders reporting that private bullion shipments are being diverted to the east at double the New York spot price. Why is the U.S. Mint suddenly silent about their production quotas while China is setting record-breaking delivery numbers every single morning? The answer is that the West has run out of metal and the paper crash is the only weapon they have left to prevent a total run on the remaining physical stocks. If the price of silver were truly falling, due to a lack of demand, these dealer websites would be flooded with inventory and premiums would be non-existent. Instead, we see a complete shutdown of supply paired with a fake paper sell-off that is designed to trigger stop-loss orders and steal your generational wealth. This is the definition of a rigged market, a criminal operation being run out of the boardrooms of Wall Street to prevent the masses from realizing that their paper currency is dying in real time. The industrial sector, specifically the massive AI, semiconductor, and green energy giants, is now bypass buying directly from the mines through private offtake agreements, effectively cutting the retail investor out of the loop. JP Morgan and Bank of America are sitting on a toxic mountain of naked short contracts that they cannot cover without triggering a vertical moonshot in price. I have obtained data from a Tier 1 bullion depository indicating that delivery delays are now being extended to 12 weeks, a delay that is legally being classified as an operational adjustment to hide the fact that they are in a state of physical default. The $95 target is not a speculative guess. It is a mathematical certainty based on the current inflation-adjusted money supply and the total destruction of the silver-to-gold ratio. The banking cartels have set a psychological trap at the current price levels to convince you that silver is a dead asset, while they quietly accumulate every physical ounce they can find through private dark pool transactions. You must recognize that a delay in delivery is a default in slow motion, and the out-of-stock messages on major dealer sites are the final smoke signals from a burning building. If you fall for this paper trap and sell your physical holdings now, you are handing over your family's future security to the very people who are actively destroying your purchasing power through infinite money printing. Everything you see on the mainstream news is a carefully crafted distraction from the fact that the foundations of the debt-based economy are rotting away, while silver remains the only undeniable truth. Silver is the Achilles heel of the central banking system because it is the only asset that cannot be printed, hacked, or duplicated by government decree. Once the Stage Zero headline finally hits the mainstream media and the average person realizes they can no longer buy silver at any price, the panic buying will be uncontrollable. This Monday is the most critical day of the year because the paper crash is failing to discourage physical buying in the massive Asian markets, creating an arbitrage gap that is physically destroying the COMEX's ability to function. The U.S. national debt is increasing by $1 trillion every 100 days, a terminal trajectory that guarantees the eventual destruction of the dollar's value as the primary reserve currency. In such an environment, the only true safe haven is a physical asset with zero counterparty risk, and silver remains the most undervalued and suppressed asset in human history. We are approaching a moment of force majeure, where the exchanges will simply cancel all paper contracts and settle them in worthless cash because there is no silver available to buy. This is the ultimate trap designed to keep the masses locked inside the fiat matrix, while the elite move their wealth into the safety of physical assets through back-channel deals. I'm monitoring the registered stocks at the COMEX every single hour, and the data shows that we are down to the last few million ounces that are actually available for trade. Most of what is reported as total inventory by the media is a lie because it is already allocated to industrial giants who are bypass buying directly from the vaults to secure their production lines. The retail investor is being left with the scraps, and soon, even those scraps will be gone as the supply is completely shut down to the general public. The banks are terrified because they know that once the vault empty headline hits the mainstream, the global stampede for silver will be the largest in history and the price will move so fast that no one will be able to buy it. The secret signal I have been watching for has finally flashed. The ratio between silver and the global money supply has hit an all-time low, indicating that silver is the most undervalued commodity on the planet. Historically, every time this ratio hits this extreme level, a massive revaluation follows within a matter of months that results in a 500 to 1,000% move in price. This is the repeating cycle of monetary history that is about to culminate in the final destruction of the unbacked paper experiment. Central banks across the globe are currently hoarding gold and silver at a pace not seen since the 1970s, a clear signal that they know exactly what is coming and are preparing for a total reset. The BRICS nations have officially initiated a gold-backed trade currency that will bypass the Western SWIFT system, effectively ending the petrodollar's reign and triggering a massive repatriation of dollars. As the global demand for dollars evaporates, the value of hard assets like silver will inverse, creating a price moonshot that will catch 99% of the population completely off guard. We are talking about a move from $20 to $100 and then $200 in a time frame that will leave the world's financial experts speechless. Your only defense is to remove your wealth from the digital matrix and place it into the physical world where it cannot be deleted by a central bank digital currency. The trap I mentioned is the $90 to $95 target that the banks have set as a psychological ceiling to convince you that the move is over so they can take your metal back. In reality, $95 is just the launching pad for a triple-digit silver price that will be driven by forced institutional buying and industrial panic as the global supply chains break down. If you sell at $95, you are falling for their final trick, allowing the banks to take your metal just before the real hyperinflationary spike begins. This is the great deception, where they give you a small win to prevent you from getting the big win that would actually secure your family for generations to come. Industrial demand for silver in the solar and AI sectors is creating a structural deficit that is growing by hundreds of millions of ounces every year, while mining production is stagnating. We're entering a silver squeeze that will make the previous market tremors look like a minor distraction before the massive earthquake that is about to level the financial landscape. Big banks are currently sitting on short positions that they can never close without triggering their own bankruptcy and a total systemic meltdown. They're using every trick, spoofing, naked shorting, and media manipulation to keep the price low so they can buy back their shorts from scared investors. Do not give them your silver. They are the ones who are trapped. I am receiving reports from major private vaulting facilities that family offices and private wealth managers are moving their clients' silver into deep storage, effectively removing it from global circulation. This stealth hoarding by the top 0.1% is the most bullish signal we have ever seen, as they know that the window to acquire physical metal is closing with extreme speed. When the elites start hoarding a specific commodity while telling the public to stay in stocks and bonds, it means they know a catastrophic supply shock is imminent. The general public is being led to the slaughterhouse of inflation, while the people who run the system are building lifeboats out of gold and silver to ensure their survival. Everything we have been told about the economy being strong is a blatant lie designed to keep the masses subservient to a debt-based system that requires infinite growth on a finite planet. Silver is the only asset that cannot be printed, hacked, or deleted, making it the ultimate tool for financial rebellion against a system that wants to track and tax every move you make. The system is fighting for its life, and its only remaining weapon is the ability to manipulate the numbers on your screen to make you feel like you are losing. The out-of-stock messages are the reality. The red candles on the chart are the illusion. You must see through the deception. I want you to realize that the signs we are seeing today in the silver and gold markets are exponentially more dangerous than those of 2008, because global debt has reached terminal velocity. There is no soft landing coming for the US dollar. There is only a hard reset, and physical silver is the only insurance policy that will protect your future. The vaults are draining, the mines are slowing down, and the paper markets are fractured beyond any hope of repair. Every ounce of silver you hold in your possession is a vote against the corrupt banking cartels that have manipulated our lives for decades through the theft of our labor via inflation. The window of opportunity to buy silver at these suppressed prices is closing in weeks and days as the stage 0 inventory level is reached and exchanges fail to fulfill orders. Once the COMEX officially declares a default or a force majeure event, the ask price for silver will disappear from the public markets entirely. You must act before the bid hits $50, because after that point, the market will go into a permanent state of chaos where no trading occurs except between sovereign nations. This is your final warning to stop listening to the noise of the mainstream media and start looking at the cold, hard data of physical silver inventories. I'm tracking the arbitrage between New York and Shanghai every day, and the gap has now reached a point where it is more profitable to buy silver in New York and ship it to China than it is to hold any other asset. This massive drain of Western wealth is being ignored by the media because it reveals the total failure of the US Treasury to defend the dollar's status. When the vaults in London and New York are finally empty, the price discovery of silver will move to the east, and we will see a massive revaluation. The $95 shock is just the beginning of a process that will see silver become one of the most valuable substances on Earth. Every time the banks print a new billion-dollar short contract to suppress the price, they are only adding more fuel to the eventual short squeeze that will propel silver into triple digits. You are witnessing the final, desperate gasps of a dying monetary regime that has lost control of the physical world and is trying to maintain order through digital manipulation. The great deception is the belief that things will ever go back to the way they were before the world realized that paper money is a fraud. I will continue to track every ounce that leaves the vaults to keep you one step ahead of the corrupt banking cartels. The out-of-stock alerts on APMEX and JM Bullion are the result of a coordinated effort by large-scale buyers to secure the last available bullion before the market resets. We are seeing a historic shift where the general public is being priced out while the elite are consolidating their positions to prepare for the end. If you wait until silver is back in stock, you will likely be paying double or triple what it is today, assuming they ever get stock back at all. The availability of the metal is now more important than the paper price, and those who prioritize price over possession will find themselves with nothing. This is your final call to position yourself on the right side of history by acquiring hard assets while they are still available for public purchase. The stage 0 warning is the final signal that the exit door is closing, and those who fail to act now will be left to deal with the consequences of a collapsed currency. Subscribe to this channel right now because I am the only one tracking these vault movements daily and providing the raw data the establishment wants to suppress. The $95 shock is coming, the dealers are empty, and the time to protect your family's future is right now. End of transmission.